Chapter 36 Out of Touch. All for One was really enjoying this meditative retreat. Being 200 years old gets tiring on occasion, so it's nice to just step back for a while. Let his plans work themselves out. He's got so many contingencies and backups for even the most unlikely events that he doesn't have to worry about anything, even almost completely isolated from the outside world. Yeah, All for One would give Tartarus 9 out of 10 stars on Yelp. Today, though, it appeared as though he had some visitors. No one too surprising, just Eraserhead, Detective Tsukauchi, Nezu, and All Might. This was exactly the reason Tartarus only gets 9 out of 10 stars. The useless questioning. He wonders what they'll bore him with today, until he can go back to mentally rewatching all of Friends. That VCR quirk might just be one of his favorites of all time. The looks he gets from the 3 visitors are less than kind, but that's to be expected. Also, as expected, it's Nezu who speaks up first.
All for One, we would like to propose a deal. You could help us contact someone and we'll make sure you're a little more comfortable in here. A nicer chair, music, weekly chess sessions with me. Something within reason.
Now this is interesting. They need something from him and are willing to negotiate? They must be desperate. Who could be so important to contact that they're willing to do this? All for One will admit, his curiosity has been piqued. And chess sessions with the rat don't sound half bad. And why do you need my help? He asked with a sharp grin. There was no need to let them know he had already made up his mind to take the deal. Because we believe that you would be capable of doing this, Eraserhead replied curtly. Oh, they were really worked up about this. This will definitely be good. Okay then. I'll help you contact this person in exchange for 2 hours of chess every Sunday with our dear principal. The 4 visitors looked at each other, suspicion clear.
Now, we have taken measures to ensure there is no possibility of escape while you use whatever quirks to sustain the connection, so don't bother trying,
Nezu said. All for One shook his head in amusement. They still didn't realize that there was nothing keeping him here other than his own desire. He's long since built up an immunity to quirk suppressants, and this measly straitjacket-mounted machine gun combo wasn't enough to even make him blink. If he had eyes, that is. He was getting invested into why they wanted him to contact this person, though, so he was glad that the detective lie detector was here to assure them. I won't use this as an opportunity to escape. Don't worry, I'm quite enjoying my time here, he drawled. A quick nod from the detective was enough for the rat to continue.
We need to establish a stronger link from our end to the other person. There is already a connection present, but the distance is too great to effectively get anything across. What we need you to do is boost the signal, strengthen the connection.
All for One was starting to get a little frustrated. He had already agreed to their terms. Why were they still skirting around what they actually needed him to do? I certainly have the quirks to do that, no matter the distance, but I would kindly ask you to be more specific in what you need. My patience is only so much. It was Eraserhead who spoke up this time. Aliens abducted 6 of our students 3.5 months ago. Midoriya was among them. We need you to use Yagi's connection to One for All to strengthen the connection enough to get more than vague dreams about Ghost Uno. Understand?
What in the ever-loving fuck?
Trying to compartmentalize his thoughts, he went over that from the beginning. Aliens are real. Okay, that makes sense. He's a self-centered bastard, but even he doesn't think that Earth is some chosen planet that is the sole place to have developed sentient life in the entire universe. That's just small-minded. But it was nice to have some confirmation. Still, That might mess up his plans, because even though he believed that there was life out there in the universe, he didn't think they'd want to come fuck around and find out with Earth. These aliens decided to abduct UA students. He can't judge. He literally did the same thing not too long ago. But that could definitely mess with his plans. This happened 3.5 months ago, and no one told him? The doctor was going to be dead. All for One had told him to inform him of any important details, and this was certainly an important detail. First turning child corpses into Nomu, 18 plus, please. And now not telling him that aliens abducted UA students. Next point. Midoriya was abducted by aliens. In the blink of an eye, All for One was standing next to the 4 observers in a panic. What do you mean my son was abducted by aliens? Shota activated his quirk as soon as All for One appeared beside them. He couldn't focus on how the supervillain had so easily escaped his restraints because they had bigger things to deal with. The fact that All for One could kill them any second, yes, but more importantly, I'm sorry, Midoriya is your what? All for One didn't answer, instead pacing back and forth while looking like he was having a personal crisis. As much as Shota didn't want to think about it, his mind couldn't help but compare the faceless man's panic to that of a worried parent. Hopefully that meant he wouldn't kill them, because Shota could only keep his quirk up for so long. The man continued to pace, but soon an all too familiar muttering filled the space. How the fuck did Izuku get into space? This was not something I planned for. I thought UA was supposed to be safe. I knew I should have locked him inside the vault like Yoji, but no. Try to be a good parent and look where it gets you. Inko must be so worried. Fuck, fuck, fuck! Everyone was just looking at the man in disbelief. Was he serious? One look at Nomasa confirmed that yes, he was telling the truth. Midoriya was the son of All for One. What the fuck?
Well, this certainly is an unexpected turn of events,
Nezu chimed. At the sound, All for One turned his head towards the rat, looking slightly unhinged.
Given your personal stake in this matter,
Nezu continued,
why don't we get an explanation out of the way so we can attempt to contact Midoriya? Also, may we have your assurance that you will neither harm anyone here nor escape while we discuss things? All for One took a deep breath and sat down in one of the room's chairs.
Okay, sure. My whole criminal master plan for world domination needs to be thrown out because of all the possibilities I planned for, my son, along with my brother's quirk, ending up in space, was not one of them. So, why not?
He said with such bone-deep exhaustion that Shota couldn't help but relate.
Nope, nope. Do not relate to the evil supervillain even if they are your problem child's father.
Focus on clearing up what's going on so they can try to contact said problem child.
I've never heard Midoriya mention his father. Does he know your identity?
Shota asked. All for One just glared, or at least Shota assumed it was a glare, but it was impossible to know due to the lack of eyes, at Yagi.
No, Izuku doesn't know I'm All for One. He just knows me as Midoriya Hazashi. No, Izuku doesn't know that I'm All for One. He just knows me as Midoriya Hazashi. Father who had to move away to work in America because he couldn't exactly show up back home with no face thanks to Ass Might lobotomizing him with his fucking fist. Fuck you, All Might.
Yet again, another look at Nomasa confirmed he was telling the truth. Shota thought he had gotten bad luck with who his parents were, but Midoriya was on a whole nother level. Nezu spoke up again.
Is Midoriya truly quirkless by nature?
All for One looked aghast at the accusation.
How dare you? I did not steal my son's quirk. He is biologically quirkless. Thanks to me being a first-generation quirk user, the odds were not in his favor. And if you're wondering, the reason I didn't give Izuku a quirk was because the last time I tried to give a family member a quirk without their consent, they spent the rest of their life trying to kill me. While the attempts were cute, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Izuku comes up with, my brother stopped talking to me after that, so I'm trying to avoid that this time. And no, a young child cannot consent to a quirk. That was a lot more responsible than Shota thought it would be. The finding murder attempts cute is a little psychotic, and Shota's pretty concerned with the vault talk he picked up in All for One's little mumble rant earlier, but overall, not as bad as he expected from a 200-year-old supervillain. Okay, I told you what you wanted to know. How do I contact Izuku? I know he's physically okay from a few individualized health tracking quirks I have monitoring him, but I'd like to hear from him and let him know he's definitely grounded when he gets home.
Shota had a bad feeling that All for One's version of grounding involved one too many vaults.